righty, welcome back. Lots to talk about, lots to break down. We are waiting. Momentarily, we're going to be joined by NFL Super Bowl champion and one of the greatest of greats, in my view, Joe Theismann is going to join us to talk about all the craziness going on in pro sports. But right now, a little news of the day, and me and Nico are so far away, but we're still close. We're connected. So I'm going to rattle off some SOTs right here, sound on tape, that I want you to take a look at. Now, early on in this presidential campaign, there was a lot of talk about Joe Biden touching kids and fondling women and smelling their hair and coming up behind them in weird ways, and they were calling him Creepy Joe. But Tara Reid, who was one of his staffers, came forward and said that he actually threw her up against a wall and, in her words, digitally penetrated her. I think digitally like this way, not digitally like on your phone. But let's take a look at what Tara Reid had to say about Joe Biden.
Here I am in the Senate office. Here's a good picture of Senator Biden.
He pushed me up against the wall, and then he used his knee to separate my legs.
You right?
Mm-hmm. She was telling me to go to the police right then, and to keep what I was wearing and on, and to go to the police.
Why did you resist going to the police?
They're there to protect the senators and congressmen. They're not there to protect us.
Did you sexually assault Tara Reid?
No, it is not true.
What made you think, nah, I'm going to tell the full truth?
I decided that people needed to know he's going to the highest office of the land. Well, I know what he's like. I know what his character's like. And he doesn't deserve the presidency based on what happened to me. He's been misogynistic. He's had sexual assault allegations, sexual harassment. He's a blue Trump. He's a blue Trump.
Sunday, After the Block on 9 and...
Hey, I mean, I think the woman has been proven to be kind of credible. And her story's been the same all along. She says that, she did report this to some other people. She reported it to friends, her mom, and everyone else. But it is strange. Like a little earlier, we had on Josh Kravitz to mix it up. He's a Democrat, and John Burnett, he's a Republican. And when I asked Josh Kravitz about whether he was disappointed as a Bernie supporter that Joe Biden doesn't support the Green New Deal, which was one of the top things for the progressive left, Josh started breaking into this whole discussion about how Donald Trump had 3 wives and was accused of being with a stripper and all this other stuff. But you don't hear anything whatsoever coming out of the left with relation to the allegations made by Tara Reid. So I think it's something, they always look for this October surprise. I think it's something we should keep a close eye on. And another thing you want to keep a close eye on is the Democrats are howling and screaming and yelling and crying that we can't put in another Supreme Court justice. Donald Trump and the Republicans are going to do what has to be done to make sure to get not 1, not 2, but 3 different justices on the court. And I think that's going to happen right away, especially before the election. And when Kamala Harris was asked about her views on packing the Supreme Court, if the Republicans have 6 members on the court, here's what she had to say on packing the Supreme Court.
But your party is actually openly advocating adding seats to the Supreme Court, which has had 9 seats for 150 years, if you don't get your way. This is a classic case of if you can't win by the rules, you're going to change the rules. Now, you've refused to answer the question. Joe Biden has refused to answer the question. So I think the American people would really like to know, if Judge Amy Coney Barrett is confirmed to the Supreme Court of the United States, are you and Joe Biden, if somehow you win this election, going to pack the Supreme Court to get your way?
I'm so glad we went through a little history lesson. Let's do that a little more. In 1864...
Well, I'd like you to answer the question.
No, Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Okay. In 1864, one of the I think political heroes, certainly of the president, I assume of you also, Mr. Vice President, is Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham Lincoln was up for re-election, and it was 27 days before the election, and a seat became open on the United States Supreme Court. Abraham Lincoln's party was in charge not only of the White House, but the Senate. But Honest Abe said it's not the right thing to do. The American people deserve to make the decision about who will be the next president of the United States, and then that person can select who will serve for a lifetime on the highest court of our land. And so Joe and I are very clear. The American people are voting right now, and it should be their decision about who will serve on this most important body for a lifetime.
Thank you,
And
Senator
the
Harris.
people, Susan, are voting right now. They'd like to know if you and Joe Biden are going to pack the Supreme Court if you don't get your way in this nomination.
Let's talk about packing.
You once again gave a non-answer. Joe Biden gave a non-answer.
Trying to answer you
the
now.
American people deserve a straight answer. And if you haven't figured it out yet, the straight answer is they are going to pack the Supreme Court if they somehow win this election.
So, I keep talking about signal and noise, signal and noise. Kamala Harris, in that answer right there, was all noise, no signal. So now she wouldn't answer the question. The question was binary. If Amy Coney Barrett is approved and confirmed and sitting on the Supreme Court and you and Joe Biden win, will you pack the court and make the number larger to like 12 or 13 so that you can take back the balance of power? And she went into this whole soliloquy on Abraham Lincoln and what he did and the historical precedent and all this other stuff. But the question that she was asked was very simple. Will you and Joe Biden add more Supreme Court justices? And, thinking people can figure this stuff out for yourself. When you're asked a binary question, will you do this? And you give this long-winded 2-minute answer, and the answer nowhere in there contains an empirical binary yes or no, then that should tell you what she's really saying. And I think Mike Pence hit it right on the head when he said, if you can't figure it out, it should be easy. The fact that she won't answer it should tell you that their intention is, if we put another Republican appointee on the bench, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will absolutely pack the court. And, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are the jail minority party because Joe Biden was the author of the '94 crime bill, and Kamala Harris was one of the key prosecutors of it as Attorney General in the state of California. So all those minorities out there who are supposedly voting for Biden and Kamala, they're sitting there going, wait a minute. My friend Rich Valdez said it best. That's the lock 'em up party. We're going to have a party right after this with an NFL great. And we're joined right here on Liquid Lunch for the first time ever by Joe Theismann, NFL quarterback, legend in my view, Super Bowl winner. And he's going to be here for a Liquid Lunch for the first time right after this.